you wanna dance?
Welcome to Do You Wanna Dance with Sophia in Sapphire. Learn how simple it is to go from wallflower dreamer to confident center of the stage dancer. Whether it's the first dance as husband and wife or another option for date night, we'll help you go from nerdy to flirty, jumpstarting your dancing journey and transforming your experience into a personal expression of what makes you, you. And now, your host for Do You Wanna Dance, Sophia in Sapphire.
Welcome, everybody. Alrighty, welcome to the show. I'm your hostess, Sophia, and you're listening live on VegasAllNetRadio.com. This whole show is about inspiring you, helping you get out, and jump-starting your dancing journey, and also a life full of confidence and enjoyment. If you want to get more information about Do You Wanna Dance radio show, join us at sophiainsapphire.com. And also you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. We're also on Pinterest and Instagram. And we are holding a raffle this month for all new likes on Facebook. So be sure to join in, like, for a chance to win a free lesson with yours truly. So our co-host today is Magic Al Jensen. Welcome to the show, Al.
Thank you, Sophia. It's always a delight to be in the Do You Wanna Dance studio with you.
Well, thank you for being here.
I wouldn't have missed it for the world.
How are you doing today?
You know what? I've been outside a lot today, and this is why I love living in Vegas. I mean, this is the perfect time. It's like low 80s, sunshine, just a little bit of breeze. I just love being outdoors.
How long does it last?
Hopefully a long time, but chances are any day now we're going to start hitting mid-90s.
No way.
Pushing 100 before you know it. So, you take it when you get it and appreciate every single moment because, by mid-May to the 1st of June, we're starting to look at 100 degrees pretty much on a regular basis.
Oh, wow.
That's right. You're relatively new to the Las Vegas scene.
Yes.
Well, not the Las Vegas scene, but as far as day-to-day life in Las Vegas.
Right.
Kind of new to you.
And what I hear, actually yesterday, somebody made a comment that they prefer Vegas over Hawaii just because it's not damp. It doesn't have that humidity.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, it's dry here. I mean, if it hits 30% humidity, that's considered, wet here in Las Vegas. And, of course, in Hawaii, if it ever gets under 80% humidity, they wonder, what's wrong. So, yeah, it is. It's a dry heat, but, that's the same thing that I have that same conversation with my turkey at Thanksgiving. I say, yeah, the oven's at 350, but it's a dry heat.
Yeah.
It says, yeah, it's still 350 degrees.
Right.
I'm still in the oven.
Right. Well, it helps out, with training because when it's damp and humid out there, it's a lot harder with, dancing.
Well,
and
and your
breathing.
hair, let's be honest.
Okay. You got me.
My wife just says, oh, my goodness,
Right.
It must be 30% humidity today. My hair just looks like I might as well be in Texas, she says.
So, I'm really excited today for our guest.
Oh, absolutely. We've got a great guest coming up in the next segment.
We're going to be talking about something very fascinating and a topic I really love to address because I feel it's under-addressed in general.
And that is?
On how to become a gentleman.
How to become and be a gentleman
what
on
it
a
is,
regular basis.
Yeah, what it is to be a gentleman.
Because becoming a gentleman is one thing, but being a gentleman on a regular day-to-day basis, making that part of your lifestyle, making that part of your DNA, that's another story. Because a lot of people, and I'm just going to throw this out here and see what you think, all right? Because being a dancer, being in the nightclub and the dance hall scene and being out there, putting yourself out there, I propose to you that a lot of the male species can become or seemingly become a gentleman when they have something else in their mind. And then once you get to know them, their true colors come out and you realize, oh, that was a facade.
Imposters.
Have you ever experienced that?
Yeah, actually, I think that's just a chronic, unfortunate dilemma.
Oh, yeah. It really is. We sometimes, and I apologize to the rest of the gentlemen out there, but we as the male species, when we want something, we are not afraid to put on a mask, put on a costume, be
Right.
somebody that maybe we are not genuinely, and try to woo a lovely lady for, let's just say, less than honorable, reasons.
Oh, yeah.
Did I put that as
Well,
delicately
yeah,
as I needed to?
it's true. And what's interesting about what you say is that it's not only in just, that sort of topic. I mean, think of other activities that, need two people in them, like dancing. Okay, so
Right.
there's a guy and a girl. And the girl's not going to do her part unless, the leader is patient, unless the leader is aware, unless the leader cares enough to make it comfortable for the lady and position her in a way so that she is persuaded to move.
Right.
Instead of being pushy. Because a lot of times we might know, I need to do this. A goes before B, goes before C. Why isn't she, doing
Right.
it? But at the same time, it's like you have to check in. It's not just a self-serving world out there. We have relationships all over the place.
That's right. Now, there's a phrase, and I'm going to throw this out here, and you can tell me if you as a woman and or you as a dancer have heard this, and I bet that you have. The phrase goes something like this: "It takes two to tango."
Oh,
What does that mean to
yes.
you? It takes two to tango.
Well, you can't tango alone, can you?
No. Well, okay. No, you cannot tango alone. It takes a gentleman. It takes an individual who is going to lead in the dance.
Yeah, it takes a conversation.
And the woman in the dancing equation cannot tango unless her partner has her respect, her
Right.
trust, confidence. And once they have established that trust and that confidence, and the gentleman is being a gentleman and earns her trust and respect, then the two can tango, and they can do a pretty doggone good job.
Yeah, well, yes, I agree. An important part is realizing that there are two different functions of a partnership, of a relationship.
Right.
In dancing, in the dancing world, there's a leader and a follower. It's not a submissive or domination sort of thing. It's a conversation. And I keep saying that because it's a give and take. It's an awareness of each other. You said this. What does that mean to me? I propose this. It's bouncing back and forth. It's not a force. And so, when I teach people, the underarm turn, for example, a lot of guys, when they learn that turn, they're trying to stir like a cauldron,
Trying to stir the pot. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is an invitation. This is the easiest move to learn. You raise your left hand, and you know what? She doesn't have to go.
Uh-huh.
And I always say that. She probably will. But if the invitation is there, it's an open doorway. She walks through it. He meets her on the other end. And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's not a Yankee yank. And
Yeah, it's not a pushy, shovey kind of a thing.
what's cool is that, I do get some couples that are kind of irked at each other. They come into the lesson and they're kind of pissed off. They bicker.
Yeah.
They're teaching each other on the lesson that I'm teaching, right?
Uh-huh.
And so I feel like a psychologist sometimes. And I kind of disarm them by saying, you're working too hard. It's less work. Just invite her. See if she goes.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's surprised that he does not have to work that hard, and she
Right.
does what he wants.
Right.
So it's really interesting. Sometimes less is more, and
Frequently less is more, right?
yeah, and a lot of times we're overly aggressive to be something we're not, or to get something we think we might not eventually get.
Yeah, it all comes back to being a gentleman.
Yeah.
If we are being too aggressive to get something that we want that's not necessarily mutually beneficial, then, we're just not getting off on the right foot, and it's not going to be a good relationship.
Yeah, and I love gentlemen. I think it's a lost art. Kind of like our guest is going to elaborate more on
we're
that
talk
later.
About that. Absolutely.
But what I love about dance, and I think why I'm pursuing this so passionately, is because it comes down to organically feeling who we are in this world and our relationship to each other.
Right.
What you do in dance, it relates, it correlates to what you do outside of dance. You learn how to be patient. You learn how to signal, body language. You learn all these different things. and you don't use force, or you don't demand, you don't
Right.
expect.
Right. It's a give and take. It's like you said earlier, it's a conversation. It's an equal partnership. Yes, the gentleman does lead. He opens the door. He makes invitations and suggestions and leads the conversation of dance, but shouldn't demand and shouldn't push and force his will on his partner.
Yeah, and one thing I like what you said earlier, you said sometimes, guys, they will act a certain way or do something in order to persuade the lady to do whatever he wants, right? But and then later on just goes back to the old hymn.
Right.
But the thing is, this is an ongoing sort of thing to work at. This is before you get married. This is after you get married. This is to keep things alive. It's not just like you press a button, you did it once, you got the girl, and it's over. Why aren't things the same? Mm-hmm. And so that's what I love about dance, because you learn all these more advanced moves. You keep learning these moves, and you feel like you nailed it and you aced the first ones. And
But
then
there's always another move.
More, and
Yeah.
there's always a different perspective.
Right.
And that's what's so cool about it all.
Now, you just demonstrated this exact principle this last weekend in the Bay Area. Is that right?
Oh,
I
yeah.
want to hear a little bit about that. You were in the Bay Area competing
Yes.
as a professional dancer and I'm sorry, I don't really understand all the different classes, but tell us the class that you competed
Yeah,
in.
so we were competing in Rising Star. From semifinals, we actually made it to the finals, which is really
Awesome.
great for a new professional couple. And yeah, I mean, it's a give and take. And the thing is, I remember I was really tired because we were dancing at 11 p.m. at
11
night.
o'clock at night, you got your call to be on the
Yeah,
floor.
and I was teaching all day, and I wasn't eating the right foods, and I could see, my partner, he is so good about being on. He's just so good about he needs to perform, he performs.
Uh-huh.
I was so bogged down, and I thought to myself, okay, for me, I could accept myself being this way, but for my partner, I can't let him down. I have to, perform my maximum.
You
I have
gotta
to be
step
there
it up.
for him. And, I think it's not in terms of the concept of being a gentleman and also being a lady or a partner in a relationship. You have to give and be aware of the other person.
Oh, absolutely.
To make it work. It takes two. And that's what goes back to it takes two to tango. You can't win a competition if only one partner is strong.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
All right, so I think we came to the time. Let's introduce actually our guest,
All right, let's do
John
that.
Evans from Professional Bachelors. Welcome to the show.
Welcome,
Thanks.
John Evans.
Thank you.
It's good to have you on the show.
It's nice of you to say.
So you probably heard our banter about the gentleman topic, but you are an expert, right?
I'm trying.
Correct answer here is
Well,
yes, I am
yes.
an expert.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I am. Thank you.
Well, I'm so excited to have you here because I love this topic. I love that you are actually doing something about this. So from what I understand, you provide resources for guys to be a gentleman.
Exactly.
Can we start off with the definition of a gentleman
Oh, that's good.
from your perspective, anyhow?
A gentleman is a man who leads and treats everyone, both ladies and men, with respect and courtesy. Big difference probably between gentlemen and nice guys, because a lot of times nice guys are weak and wimpy, and they're only being nice to get what they want.
Mm-hmm.
And then really comes from a place of being needy, that kind of thing. Now, a gentleman is someone who treats everyone with respect, but he leads gently, and also, let me say, leads selflessly, not selfishly.
I love that.
Leading, especially in relationships with women, it's about leading to what's best for them all along, without, as you pressuring or pushing or dragging or forcing, coercing.
I love it. This is a great introduction to our interview. We have to unfortunately break for our first commercial, but we'll have you back on the show soon. Here's our commercial break.
Feel free to get up and dance while we take a quick break for these commercial messages.
Tonight we dance. I live my life.
Hi, it's Sophia from Sophia in Sapphire, here with a personal invitation to join me at 6 p.m. each Monday night in April to learn the salsa at the Ritz, located at 3360 East Flamingo Road, for my How to Dance in Real Life Situations beginner class. Begin your journey from nerdy to flirty while you learn how to make dance more than just a one-time thing. For more information, please visit sophiainsapphire.com.
Hi, Sophia. This is Anne, and I'm calling because my husband surprised me with dance lessons at Sophia in Sapphire, and we had a marvelous time. I never in a million years thought that I would be able to salsa. I can't believe that Jim was in for it, and we both had so much fun. Since then, we have been going out on dates just so we can salsa, and it's really changed our world. So thanks again, Sophia. We had a lot of fun. You're a very patient teacher, and I can't wait to take the next lesson.
Are you looking for an all-inclusive, stress-free wedding venue? One with all the services to plan your perfect wedding. If so, you're looking for the Ritz of Las Vegas, family-owned and operated for more than 10 years. In addition to traditional events, the Ritz specializes in theme weddings from 1920s, glam goth, Star Wars, Harry Potter, masquerade, burlesque, or vintage Hollywood, just to name a few. Whatever your vision, the Ritz makes it a reality. For more information on the finest all-inclusive, stress-free wedding venue in Las Vegas, contact the Ritz of Las Vegas at 702-336-3626 or visit them at theritzoflasvegas.com. That's 702-336-3626 or theritzoflasvegas.com.
Welcome back to Do You Wanna Dance? Once again, your host, Sophia in Sapphire. Sophia in Sapphire.
Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to the Do You Want to Dance radio show. This is your hostess, Sophia, and alongside with me here is Al Jensen, co-hosting.
Hi there, Sophia.
Hey, and a special guest, John Evans from Professional Bachelors.
Yes.
Thank you.
So we left off actually talking about really fascinating definition about what a gentleman is, and then the difference between nice guy and gentleman.
Yeah, I want to hear more about that. The difference between a nice guy, because it's always been said that nice guys finish last.
Right.
And I don't know exactly why that is. Maybe you can shed some light on that and tell us the difference between a nice guy and a gentleman.
All right, glad to. Women are attracted to confidence, and most of the time, nice guys are being nice, not just to women, but to men. Nice guys are nice because they're needy, and neediness is repulsive. It's repulsive to men. It's especially repulsive to women. And a lot of times, nice guys are pretending to be nice because at their core, they're really not nice at all. They're selfish and needy, and they're out to get what they want. You've, Sophia, I'm sure, had the experience of a guy trying to seduce you or impress you by pretending to be a nice guy until he could get his tentacles, if you will, into you.
We could talk all show about all the times on my lessons, even how the most awkward lessons I've had.
Really?
So, of course.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
And in the parking lot after the lessons.
Oh, my. Creepy dance lessons.
We don't have enough time. This show's only an hour long.
Well,
sorry about that. But
no, that's all right. Gentlemen are nice, and I get called nice, and I take it as a compliment. But it comes from a place of confidence and contentment with who you are.
Yeah.
And I'm polite to other people. A lot of times, folks who are nice are so needy that they let other folks run over them so that they can have people like them or whatever. A gentleman's not going to do that. A gentleman is going to have boundaries, and he's going to treat people polite and courteously, but he's going to respect other people and also both command and demand respect from other people by his character and his very presence. It's as much an internal and an attitude thing that comes from a place of emotional health and confidence.
So I have a question then. Is it possible for a nice guy to learn how to become a gentleman?
Absolutely.
Can that zebra change
because
stripes?
Because I'm a reformed nice guy, so
Oh,
it's
okay.
absolutely
Oh,
possible.
Cool.
And how would one go about doing that?
Well, the easiest thing is get on our website and sign up.
Of
But you didn't invite me to do plugs, so I'm being silly. You need to start with, why do you treat people nicely? What do you want and what do you expect? When I go out, like socializing, I went out with a friend a couple of weeks ago. He's been divorced for a while. He wants to meet women and have a girlfriend and have relationships and that kind of thing. But that's his whole focus in going out. And you need, and I just said to him, you need to reevaluate that. My attitude is, I'm here to have fun and enjoy life. If I meet someone and make a connection with them, great. If not, great. But when you have an agenda, that agenda starts to dominate internally, and it affects how you think and what you say and how you behave. It affects your body language, your whole being.
True.
Gets you off pace and off target.
So you're suggesting that you have to be comfortable in your own skin and love yourself first before you want to go out there and start pursuing a relationship. Is that a fair assessment?
That's fair, but I say even more than that. You need to have some standards for what you're looking for and expecting in a relationship. And you also need to, and this is the hardest question that most men, and I'd say by the same token on the other side, women as well, don't ever do. And that's, am I internally and externally, am I a person who's worthy of what I seek?
That's great.
And I don't see very many people doing that, which is why so many folks are frustrated with the whole dating and relationships thing.
Because it might sound like a funny line, but it is, I think what you're saying, it's all too true that many times we go out, we're not necessarily looking for Miss Right, we're looking for Miss Right Now.
A lot of guys are, and those are fairly easy to find in Vegas. I think we've all been there at different times in our lives. But a true gentleman is looking for a high-quality woman who's not necessarily Miss Right Now. Not that things don't happen the first night that you meet someone who's a high-quality person, but generally speaking, that's not your goal for the night or for the day or for whatever.
So would you say those guys are considered the jerks? Because I know you mentioned something between the difference between gentleman and a jerk.
A lot of guys, and I have guys say this all the time, and it seems like an observation that bad boys or jerks seem to get the girl.
Right.
And women are not attracted to jerks or jerk behavior, but they're absolutely repulsed by neediness.
Right.
And so what makes jerks sometimes successful is that they really don't care about anybody else but themselves. And that comes off as confidence.
Yeah.
Until the woman gets close enough to realize, oh, he's a jerk. And, of course, by that point, she's been burned. Gentlemen are genuinely confident. Whereas I'm going to be me, and if folks like me, great. And if they don't, okay, I'm not in control of that. Don't care. And
so what other people think of you is really none of your business.
Really not. Obviously, people end up liking me, but they like me because I'm a genuine, sincere person and because I like me. And because I treat other people with respect.
Yeah.
It sounds so common in terms of common sense, but common sense isn't as common as it once was, I'm afraid.
Well, it's so rare. And in our society, the instant gratification, I think jerk behavior is almost encouraged, like, focus on me and go get what I want and that kind of thing, which is why you talked about dancing and leading observation, and we'd spoken about this earlier. There's not a whole lot of real dancing in most nightclubs or social settings, at least in our town.
That's right. What would you call that?
More jumping and groping or grabbing and groping.
How unfortunate. It's a lost art.
Dancing, being a gentleman. I know your show's about dancing, so let's talk about that. On the dance floor and in life, a gentleman should lead gently know where he's going and take the lead and be confident in that without forcing it. Like you talked about the spinning or twirling. And I don't know the correct dancing terminology, but it's like you say, and you taught us when I've been to your events and your dance lesson, you raise your hand and lead. Well, it's the same way if you're going out, let's say a group of guys is going out tonight to meet women. You can lead and get to appropriate touching without groping and grabbing.
Yeah.
Like if you're guiding through a crowd, it's okay to put your hand on the small of her back. Or when you're walking across the street, to take her hand. It's a sign of caring and and makes her feel safe and comfortable.
And one thing I just kind of want to talk about, this nice guy business. Same thing with dancing. No one likes to dance with a fish or somebody who doesn't even try to do or be something. Sometimes, I'll dance. Well, I dance a lot with beginners. The very first thing I teach them is to act upon an action, like to lead, because sometimes people or guys, they expect the teacher to back lead, and that's the worst part. And some nice guys, they think that back leading in relationships or letting the woman do the lead or, pleasing her overly is the way to success, but it's probably a balance.
And some guys are just way too nice, just the opposite of the whole jerky thing. But one of the things I hear a lot of time from women is, I really like this guy, but he never made a move at all.
Yeah.
And which I hear that about as often from women as I do from, he was all over me, inappropriate, et cetera,
so it's two extremes.
Yeah, it's those two extremes. And there's very little in the middle. What's another one? Last Thursday night, I went to a wine tasting, had a date there, and we, give her a little bit of space. It's a social gathering, and I was talking to other people. Kind of funny. Two single ladies brought their guy friend to me and asked my opinion about a woman's situation he was dealing with. Anyway, my date says, so while you're talking to them, you'd be amazed at the things that guys walked up and said to me inappropriately.
Really?
Yeah, she and she told me some of those things. I don't think the FCC will let us say those on the air. No worries?
Oh.
Okay, well,
No, not here. We're open to
That's
anything.
for your show, Al.
That's right.
And so, there's those the funny thing is, guys are saying things to her while this guy is going like, well, this girl came to the wine tasting and she doesn't even drink, and she sat and talked to me for an hour and a half. And do you think she's interested? And I'm going like, are you stupid? Why did she show up here if she doesn't drink? She came and talked to you.
Yeah,
a single woman.
Right.
If she speaks to you, she's interested, because she could talk to any other guy in the place.
So simple, yet so not obvious sometimes, right?
Well, we're all over the place.
So why Professional Bachelors? I know, you're kind of coming to the rescue here with what you do and giving an answer to this horrible problem in our modern society. Isn't that so?
I hope so. Why? Well, after divorce, I was single, overweight, full-time dad with a teenage daughter. I needed to work on me and start dating again and be healthy. And I was looking around at her choices in men, and that scared me to death because they were absolutely awful. Had the idea for several years that men could do better in our society and women deserve better. And one day the idea kind of hit me, well, it's one thing to think that. Who's going to do something about that? And it kept coming, why not me?
How cool, because, it's really needed. I don't know anyone else out there doing what you're doing.
It's different. I know you're coming up on a break, right?
Yeah. Well, we're going to hear
After
more
the break,
about that.
If you want to talk about why this versus other resources and options are out there for guys, we can.
Well, of course,
Okay.
we're going to talk about that.
We got a lot more
or not you
questions
want
for you.
to.
Okay.
Whether or not you want to, John. Okay,
right.
We're going to wrap it up for our next commercial break. Stay with us.
Feel free to get up and dance while we take a quick break for these commercial messages.
When marimba rhythms start to play, dance with me, make me sway.
Do You Want to Dance is brought to you by Sophia in Sapphire. Experience the bliss of dance, whether preparing for the first dance of the rest of your life as husband and wife, or gaining the confidence to enjoy the dance floor on date night. Sophia and her team of dance specialists will help you feel alive, reconnected, and invigorated through all types of dances. From beginners to advanced students, Sophia will help you experience the therapeutic, medicinal, and transformative benefits of dance. Get on the dance floor. Get in a game. Go from nerdy to flirty with Sophia in Sapphire. Listen to Do You Want to Dance Wednesdays at 4 p.m. on Vegas AllNet Radio. And check out SophiaInSapphire.com for more information. Or give Sophia a call at 702-907-7002. That's SophiaInSapphire.com. And the Do You Want to Dance radio show Wednesdays at 4 p.m. on Vegas AllNetRadio.com.
Hi, I'm Larry Harris from Las Vegas. I want you to know about my experience with Sophia from Sophia in Sapphire. I signed up for her 10-lesson dance challenge to gain confidence, to learn the skills, to look like I knew what I was doing. Sophia made learning how to dance fun and easy. It turned out that by the end of the challenge, I wanted more, so I continued on with more lessons. Since then, I've gained enough confidence to go out into the social scene and even ask strangers to dance. I've made new friends and feel good about myself. The challenge paid off. I finally became a babe magnet. Because after all, everyone knows girls like a guy who can dance. Thanks, Sophia.
Planning a wedding? Want a spectacular, one-of-a-kind reception party experience? All Events Production is ready to make your event a unique production. From DJ and music to photo booth and even lighting, they will keep your guests engaged and entertained from beginning to end. Your wedding is transformed into a truly wow event. From live broadcasting for those who can't be there in person, to live texting, dancing in the clouds, snow, and all sorts of special effects. Your special day will truly be one of a kind. Contact All Events Production at 702-348-6641 or visit them online at alleventsproduction.com. That's 702-348-6641 or alleventsproduction.com.
Welcome back to Do You Wanna Dance? Once again, your host, Sophia in Sapphire.
Sophia in Sapphire.
Here we are back on the Do You Want to Dance radio show with co-host Al Jensen and special guest John Evans from Professional Bachelors. Welcome back into the show.
Thank you.
So, John, you were just actually finishing up talking to us about why Professional Bachelors and that you've been through quite a lot in your life and you've, come to that cusp where you decided to take some action and do something about it and create this resource, Professional Bachelors.
Yeah, as a single professional man, I needed to work on, being healthy. Mentally and emotionally. We'd suffered the loss of a child, loss of a marriage, was a single dad, wasn't physically healthy, wasn't mentally or emotionally healthy, had to deal with all of those things. And then once you start to get right as a man, I have a red-blooded American male. I like women. So I wanted to start dating again. And then having a teenage daughter, I wanted to keep the little creepy perverts away. Don't know how else to say that. That's fair. Most dads can relate to that. So started looking around. Okay, I had been married for 18 years. How do you deal with this dating and meeting women? Where do you do that anymore? Started looking around, and the resources that were out there for men were awful. The models that we had on television and movies are either extremely wimpy, effeminate men, which is not me,
right,
or Mr. Macho, beat 'em up, shoot 'em up, which is kind of silly and unreal. And then on the internet and in books, there are all of these game playing and pickup artist kind of things. How to go out and deceive unintelligent or drunk, maybe because if they've been drinking, their mind is altered, women into spending the night with you.
Yeah.
And my theory was like, there's got to be something better. And you start looking around, there's not a better, there weren't any other resources. That was it. Those were the choices that men had. And so for me, it's kind of like, well, that explains why women are frustrated, because men are either wimps or jerks or creepy pickup artists.
Yeah.
Or and men are frustrated because we really don't want to behave that way. And, you know, they're guys, while I love sports, there are more important things in life than sports.
Yeah.
A few. But not all women are interested in that. So I started thinking about, there's got to be something better.
Yeah.
There's got to be a way to help men. And on our website, we really focus on 5 themes. Culture, style, and taste, which covers some fashion. Men need to know how to dress.
How cool.
And we have actually a
Thanks
great...
for not looking directly at me when you said that, by the way.
We have a great guest writer who is a masculine. He's a retired Marine with a degree in fashion.
Really?
A man's man that writes constantly on how to dress,
cool.
how to match clothes, sports coat, that kind of thing. Awesome content from him. His name's Antonio Centeno.
How cool. Love it.
You know, he runs his own business, Real Men, Real Style. But so a little culture, fashion, and taste. Guys also need to know how to cook and take care of themselves and to be healthy. So we have some content on that. Then observation as a dad raising a daughter in a culture that's financially irresponsible, from the very highest levels of government to the lowest levels of society and everywhere in between. Only 4 states in the union do they teach anything in high school on money management.
Right.
At college, you don't get that because they give you a beer mug and a credit card application. And they don't tell you how to pay off that credit card monthly. So we have some financial help.
Problem. So you're
for
addressing
men.
lots of things here.
Well, things that are pertinent to men.
Very important.
Culture, style, and taste, health, money management, how to manage your finances and balance your budget. Also some asset protection, because a man who has anything financially, sometimes by his own fault because he leads with money, and other times because we live in the society we live in, is a target for women who are only after money or gold diggers or etc. And if he gets married the second time, he needs to make sure that his first marriage children are taken care of when he passes, because most of the time men marry younger the second time and they die before their second wives, and just to make sure that everybody's... So there's some asset protection and financial management there that we teach men. And then being a gentleman, because that's a lost art. How to be mentally and emotionally healthy and be confident, which, by the way, we need to talk about how dancing relates to confidence.
Yeah, for sure.
And then some content on romance and seduction. And that the romance and seduction is divided out really into 2. What to do to get the girl and keep her in terms of romancing and seducing her. And then there's some very specific bedroom skills that we teach, because that's important. Guys need to know how to take care of women in that way.
Yeah.
It's part of being a gentleman.
Yeah.
You need to be a gentleman in the bedroom as well.
Right. And, but the thing is, it all starts before that. The connection starts before, like you said, social skills and confidence. Maybe dancing has something to do with it.
Way back to that. You know, when you and I first talked about, and I came and took a dancing lesson from you.
Yeah, you did.
I'm a confident guy, but I like me. I hadn't always been this way, but I'm okay now, fairly confident. People would say that about me. I was nervous as could be about the whole dancing thing because, as you know, I'm rhythmically challenged. And I sang once in the shower and the water shut off.
That's a good one.
Before my kids were old enough to speak, they could sit in the back seat of the car when I'd be singing to the radio, and they'd go, "Shh, shh."
Oh.
It's true. No joke. That's the facts. But I knew that one of the things that women I go out with like to do is dance. And I knew I didn't want to do this whole grab her by the hips and grind, because that's not dancing. That's kind of vulgar and vile. We can do that at home sometimes for fun if you want to, but out in a social setting, they want to enjoy the music and dance. I love music. So I was nervous about that, but one of the things you did was you made it awesome for, like, here's what you need. Just lead. And it fit in with who I am and that kind of thing. And it was actually a boost to confidence in that area.
Well, I was going to ask, what personal revelations have you come to as a result now of being at least a slightly more confident dancer? How has that impacted your personal life?
That you don't have to be a good dancer to be a good dancer.
That's cool. And I've said that before.
Yeah,
I hadn't
I've heard that.
I hadn't heard you say that, but I'll give you, for instance, in my life, Saturday night was out. We went to. I had some free tickets. I had won from a radio show for a concert at Mandalay Bay. It wasn't. The first band was pretty good. After that, just wasn't our style of music. Mm-hmm. And the lady I was with said, "You want to go do something else?" Yeah. So let's go. Let's get out of here. And we started. There was a band playing more 70s and 80s style dance music there at Mandalay Bay. She didn't want to dance, and so she wanted to kind of sit back off in the corner, which was okay. That was fine. But after a little bit, she stood up and started. And so we were dancing, and I don't know if it's an answer to your question, really, but the revelation was that now we're not on the dance floor. We're out 20 feet where everybody can see us, almost like we're up on a pedestal. And while I know that I'm not a quote-unquote good dancer, I was comfortable and having fun with her, and she was enjoying it. That really didn't care. Was totally confident. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
And I promise you, that would not have been there had I not come to some of your meetups for dancing. And
how cool.
You know, you've seen me dance, you know.
I've seen you improve.
Sophia, what we have right here is an example of someone who has gone from nerdy to flirty
on the dance floor.
On the dance floor. This is
that would be true. That would be true. There's a woman in Glendale, Arizona, who will tell you that I'm a good dancer. I think she's a good liar, but
well, who are we to question her opinion, huh?
You know, to be honest, one thing that captivates me about dancing is it's the hardest thing that I've ever done. You know, even though I'm professional and I compete and I perform, but you have to put yourself out there. I mean, people are watching. You're moving your body.
You have to be willing to be vulnerable.
Yeah, you're moving in your body. You feel horrible inside because you don't know if it looks good. Everyone's watching, and you have to work through a lot of personal stuff to be comfortable. So a lot of times, you know, that confidence or that confident air that we put on is really just that air because we haven't really pushed ourselves to the limit. And dancing is one of those things you push yourself to the limit. Most people are not interested in dancing because it's just outside of that comfort zone. Mm-hmm. So, and the only way to get out of that comfort zone, I mean, you can't be somewhere you've never been. I mean, you don't know what you don't know. And this is just that opportunity.
As a man, I was a little bit overwhelmed and scared. This is going to be hard to learn. And what I picked up really quickly is that knowing a few basic things and being willing to, as you say, put yourself out there and go with it puts you way ahead of the curve. And that's enough in most social settings. Unless you start running your mouth and go, oh, I've been to dance lessons, blah, blah, blah. Well, then you're an idiot. But if, you know, yeah, I'm okay, we can do this. That helps a lot. It really does. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah,
and women like a guy who has the confidence to get out on the dance floor because confidence is one part of it, but I think we just discussed that vulnerability is another part. You're showing that you're willing to be vulnerable.
And can you admit that you do feel that way? I mean, you don't have to be fake.
Well, a man who's willing to be vulnerable, and I'm not talking about weak and wimpy all the time,
right?
But a man who's willing to be vulnerable in some areas is really quite genuine and authentic, and women find that attractive.
I totally agree. Do you, Al? Do you agree?
I actually do. I always thought that was part of being a nice guy, but apparently that's not the case. You know, part of being a gentleman, not necessarily a nice guy.
All right. Thank you so much, John, for being here on the show. I thoroughly enjoyed this interview.
And will you come back after the next break here? Because we want to hear a little bit more about Professional Bachelors and how people can get in touch with you.
Sure.
All righty. Here we go to our last commercial break. Stay with us.
Everyone everyone in the studio is taking a quick dance break. We'll be back after these brief commercial announcements.
When marimba rhythms start to play, dance with me, make me sway.
Tune in Wednesdays at 4 p.m. for Do You Wanna Dance? The show that helps you realize how simple it is to go from wallflower dreamer to confident center of the stage dancer. Whether it's the first dance as husband and wife or another option for date night, Sophia in Sapphire will help jumpstart your dancing journey and transform your experience into a personal expression of what makes you, you.
Tune in Wednesdays at 4 p.m. to Vegas All Net Radio and let me help you go from nerdy to flirty and learn how simple it is to turn your dreams into reality on the Do You Wanna Dance radio show.
Are you funny? Do you want to be funnier? Want more laughs from your speech, business presentation, or act? I'm Big Magic Al Jensen, and in addition to being a radio show host, I perform my comedy magic act on stages across Las Vegas and cruise ships around the world. I've consulted and coached humorous speech contest winners, stage performers, and business professionals who want to bring more humor to their conversations and presentations. I can do the same for you with my program, Funny Just Got Easier. One-on-one coaching, group classes, and workshops are available. Whether you want to be funnier in front of an audience or just in conversation, Funny Just Got Easier is the simple and quick way to kick up your humor. Check out funnyjustgoteasier.com for more information on personal coaching and workshop dates. That's funnyjustgoteasier.com.
Hi, it's Sophia from Sophia in Sapphire, here with a personal invitation to join me at 6 p.m. each Monday night in April to learn the salsa at the Ritz, located at 3360 East Flamingo Road, for my How to Dance in Real Life Situations beginner class. Begin your journey from nerdy to flirty while you learn how to make dance more than just a one-time thing. For more information, please visit sophiainsapphire.com.
Welcome back to Do You Wanna Dance? Once again, your host, Sophia in Sapphire.
Sophia in Sapphire.
Welcome back to the Do You Wanna Dance radio show. This is your hostess, Sophia, from Sophia in Sapphire. And I just want to remind all our listeners that please do follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and we are holding a raffle for all new likes. So if you would like to join us, the prize would be for a free lesson with yours truly. So here we have onto the show Magic Al Jensen and also John Evans from Professional Bachelors. We're going to wrap things up here with some information about Professional Bachelors. John.
I want to hear a little bit more about, because I know you've got a website. I know you've got lots and lots and lots of resources, lots of things that are up on your website already, all sorts of information and value that you can share. And I know you're working on new projects as well. But for right now, tell us a little bit about your website, professionalbachelors.com, and the kind of services that you offer there.
All right, on professionalbachelors.com, we have regularly updated content covering the 5 themes that we've talked about. And some of those are broken down into a couple of different subcategories. There's free content, paid content. We basically, the free content is kind of like the bait on the hook. You go check that out. Some of it's video.
It's the free sample in the aisle at Costco.
It's a small sample.
Exactly. I've been evaluating that. It looks like we're probably giving away too much free content, so we're going to make changes in the next couple of weeks. Basically, you'll be able to go and look at 3 different articles or videos or recipes or whatever.
Oh.
And after that, your IP address needs to subscribe, and we're going to change the subscription. We've been doing $5 a month or a year.
That's very affordable.
Yeah, and the idea was to make it cheap. I shouldn't say cheap, to make it affordable so no one could ever say, well, I just can't afford this help. We're going to change it to $1 a week, $52 a year, and you just pay up front. You can cancel anytime. It's not about getting rich. It's about making enough money to cover the cost. The other thing, if you have 10,000 subscribers, it's pretty decent money anyway. we've done one, and we will do a couple of more this year, and then starting in 2015, we will do one per quarter, a weekend coaching time here in Las Vegas.
Love it.
Awesome.
The weekend coaching was amazing. You get Thursday night if you show up on Thursday through Sunday, but Friday and Saturday, we limit them to 6 guys. Each guy has a female, and we go out in social settings, both lounge, both public places, also into bar and nightclub, how to approach women, talk to women, be a gentleman.
Wow, real life.
That kind of thing. Real life situations, some classroom training. Each person gets an hour with a male life coach, an hour with a female life coach, an hour with a financial planner, and we cover their hotel rooms, limo to everywhere that we go, entrance. Basically, they need to buy their own booze because we feed them for the weekend. And we did it for under $1,500 a guy and made a profit.
Really?
How cool.
Really.
Wow, that sounds like
This
an
is
awesome
great.
weekend.
It's a great opportunity.
Took some work, but our weekend coaching sessions will fill up. I've got enough interest to fill 2 more this year. Just don't have the personal time to lead those and put all those together.
Now, what about ladies? Is there any information on your website for ladies?
There's quite a bit of information there for ladies. Small content for ladies on why sometimes men reject you or why you can't keep a guy or that kind of thing. Oddly enough, I have several single moms who have read everything on our site and are using that to try to shape and mold their teenage sons. But there is some content for women on what you should do differently. Why you don't get a second date is one that I wrote.
Very interesting. This is good.
It spells out 20 reasons why she didn't get a second date.
We're going to have to bring John back for another interview at another
There's
time.
just too much here.
We've gone through almost the entire hour, and we still have so many more questions for him.
I know.
We didn't even get a chance to listen to your salsa music because this month you're teaching salsa at your meetup, right?
Yeah, well, we'll touch on that. The entire month, this month, is salsa.
Right.
And,
I love to say salsa.
I think, the cool thing about salsa is that it takes confidence to dance salsa. Mm-hmm. So that's why I think it's such a popular dance and so fun, because when you get into the groove, it's like nothing's holding you back. You have to move. Whether or not you don't want to, you can't just stop in the middle of the dance floor. And that's kind of, you got to plug away. You got to keep at it. You got to, I think that's the whole theme here. You can't just like do something once and, expect, presents. You've got to work on yourself. You got to, keep at it. I think it's just like the brain muscle memory too of being a gentleman is the, muscle memory of the body for, the dance moves. So It's kind of a cool correlation there.
Right. So everything in life requires action. And once you start that action, it's much easier to continue taking action as opposed to start from a stopped state. So get off the couch, get out of the house, get out and see the Monday night meetups over at the Ritz. Get in the game.
Yes. Well, this is your answer to get from nerdy to flirty.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody. I think we're wrapping up. And thank you so much for joining us today on the Do You Want to Dance show. Special thank you to Magic Al Jensen and our special guest, John Evans from Professional Bachelors. Check you next time on Wednesday at 4 p.m. VegasAllNetRadio.com.
To Do You Want to Dance? Tune in again next week for more interviews, advice, and insight into how you could go from nerdy to flirty and learn how simple it is to turn your dreams into reality. On the Do You Want to Dance radio show, Wednesdays at 4 p.m. right here on VegasAllNetRadio.com.
Views and opinions expressed on this program were those of the hosts and guests and did not necessarily reflect those of Vegas All Net Radio, its affiliates, or its parent company.